Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I chose struggle something. Anyways, it's a global leap map that I've not played on. I've not really looked at at all. So I thought, maybe it's worth looking at some stuff, and maybe, for once getting some other players in there other than just Rip. Just a thought. I'm not going to waste your time with unnecessary stuff in the map analysis, because again, you can see it's a 2-base, of course. Anything I think is noteworthy, you'll probably going to end up seeing the match, and I'll try to remember to go over it as it goes out. Only thing I will say is just look at air support real quick. Is that I don't think air support's super great on this map, and the reason for that has to do with the reinforcement. As you can see, it's kind of this whole section up here, it's kind of delayed and not super great. It's okay over here, but also if you look at the opponent's reinforcement lines, it's really easy to get, well, over here would be overextending, but it's super easy for them to get an anti-air out on this front where it would be useful, because if you went down the line would be there. It'd be super easy to get an anti-air out, anti-air over here. Of course, you'd want your anti-air to be from this space. It's just the only one that makes sense. You're still gonna want some copters. They're just not gonna be super powerful. That's why they end up choosing Jess. And also, this is just kind of a brawly map. And it's relatively small, and there's just kind of like there's not a lot of geography forcing certain play styles. So let's get right into it. All right, we're going to move forward to the first notable thing in the match. I mean, there is a tank build. I don't think it's that out of the ordinary. Just players like to typically build tanks as their first unit. Usually. So, here, two things. One, look at the money from 21, right? He is fully capable of building a tank this turn. He did not. Right? And you're going to somewhat see that later on. So I guess his thought process is he doesn't need to get he has time before he needs to get his unit over to where it needs to be. So he would rather have the extra infantry capturing stuff. Fine. So Barry, on the other hand, he city skips this city to get this city. Now this is one of the contested cities, and it's one of those that's particularly difficult to get and hold on to. Or, no, it's difficult to get, it's easy to deny, I should say. And this is generally because not only is it in the middle of the map, but also if you are conservative with your capture phase, that meaning you capture every city as you come upon it, this is generally the last city you will capture. So the only way to really deny what Barry is doing right now is if 21 built a K3 recon, he could get over here and deny that. But it's also, you have to kind of believe that your opponent is going this route. And to be fair, normally I see Jess players not like build tanks as the first one. It's a very brawly map. It would make sense. Barry's just trying to be cheeky about this. Moving on. So 21 ended up going for a double recon, and the reason I know he wanted the extra infantry that round for when they get to where they need to go is because last round he could have very well have built recons. He very well could have. He wanted the infantry. And he sends one up to the higher end, one to the lower end. It kind of makes sense in terms of the capture game. He's going to want, his opponent may try to be cheeky and try to get, let's say, this city. So try to contest any cheekiness over here. The center, he's going to kind of wait on, which, sure, there's not many properties in the center. What's really in the center is, well, there's this property, and there's going to be some units you're going to want to have to deal with before they get out of control. One also thing to note is that you see this right here. Barry actually skipped this city for a couple turns, right? And now he's just captured because he wants to get those infantry out there capturing the contested cities first and then go for this. And he can get away with this because he probably calculated his income curve and he can forego this capture for a couple turns. And another tank. It looks like he's making tank chains out of here. And 21 did the exact same maneuver up here with the recon up here, but he doesn't see a recon, right? So his opponent sees a recon. He doesn't see a recon. Not to try to be meta here, but maybe that indicates that there might be a tank in the area, or that he just kind of isn't applying much pressure in here. However, Barry's trying to be cheeky. Move ahead. Look where he moves his tank right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is out of sight of that recon. He's not ready to attack it yet. He wasn't in a good position. But next turn, he'll be able to do something maybe. He also just needed to move off this comm tower to capture it. Especially if he anticipates taking engagements, he's going to want that extra 10. Repairs. So he's just kind of leaving it as if it's bait. Only thing I'm not a huge fan of, yes, this is getting good coverage. This one doesn't have great coverage yet. So if a unit attacks, it's going to attack from the city. So this other one can't really do anything with that regards. If there's a secondary, I think the best thing might be to attack it from here, is my thought process. So to really get this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's no good way to really do that. And the only reason I wouldn't say like it's not going to happen here if I had the option is you kind of have to understand how tanks come out of this, and how tanks come out of this space, and you'd have to know on a second turn tank wouldn't be able to get on this side. So he pulls back the recon. Okay, he doesn't want to waste it. Sure, fine, yeah, whatever. Hides a tank in that forest because he anticipates something's going to come hitting this. Just positioning more units. Making his own tank chain. And he brings in his first tank to take a hit in infantry, and I don't love this. I think realistically, if he was going to bait, I think baiting with the recon would have been a better option. Because if he has 2 tanks in that area, he's going to be able to just destroy your tank, and that's not going to... I just don't like this move. I just don't. Understand he wants to save the recon, but again, your tank is on a shoal, and he doesn't have a unit to put on this city. So he's taking a huge gamble with his opponent not having a tank in range to hit this. I don't know. It's not going to be. He's lucking out here because this guy can't get to it. This guy can't get to it. But still, if you're, I don't love it. I'd be too scared to do something like that. So this guy, one, can't really cover this tank, right? Because to properly cover that tank, you want the tank inside this one of those green boxes. So he can't even really do anything about it. And then he moves it here, which it can, but you're gonna see the issue in a moment. Again, there's this guy, which he's trying to cover, but there's a fatal flaw with this. That it'd be good to take that away. If you take anything away from this match. So again, he just destroys this guy's infantry. And he prepares his tanks to get he still wants to get the first hit on the tanks. This guy moves alongside this tank, moves a tank in from the city, takes a hit, takes one from the plane, and then moves this guy where the tank was. So this is, I think, a really good engagement right down here, because let's say there's a bunch of tanks. Well, essentially what's going to happen is one tank from a road can take a shot at this. Not ideal. A tank can take a shot at this, and a tank can take a shot at this, right? Even if he had infinite tanks up here, he's not gonna really do a ton of damage, right? So any tanks he brings down here, one, he doesn't know how many tanks there are. Two, he's not gonna be able to destroy the tanks he wants. He's just gonna get one hit and then a follow-up. I think this is just kind of a threat up here, trying to get him to reveal his resources, like what's in this forest, or just kind of whatever's around, baiting, whatever you want to call it. So again, he blows this off, and then he's gonna put this tank on it. It's still kind of like in the midst of battle. I'd rather have this, because I'm still hesitant on being hit first. I want to take the first engagement with the tank. I'd rather pull this back, to be honest, and make sure that I got a lot of backup over here. Again, over here, there's nothing on this city protecting anything. And he actually takes this engagement right here. I think this is... I just think this is a waste, because he's going to lose this tank in the long run. I think he's not taking effective trades down here. Following up his resources. I think this one's a little bit of this late in the game, so like this move obviously happened earlier in the match. I think it's just kind of a little bit too ballsy. It's because effectively what he's doing is he's trading this infantry for delaying this capture, and I don't think that's necessarily worth it, especially because it's so easy to just knock him out if you wanted to. If you really wanted to get this capture, you'd have more support, but you moved all his support down here. So there's that. So down here, look at this. He takes the 8v8, boom, finishes off, boom. So currently he took down, yeah, there are 2 tanks that were able to destroy 2 other tanks. And let's say even if you equate this to like 1 tank left, 21 is still up in this scenario. And then again, he puts his infantry here so that there's no way more tanks can come in and keep taking shots. These guys can probably heal up. Maybe this guy can get some captures in and get his income more reflective of Barry. Or he's just going to finish off the infantry. That's also a good way to go about it. He is finishing off the recon. Getting rid of vision is always good. In this case, he's getting rid of that tank. Still, I don't love just leaving an open city. That's just open terrain. This one I could have told you was coming, because he just left it there. Boom, easy tank. That is, I think it's within 2 turns of the opponent's reinforcement, right? Yeah, it's within 2 turns of the opponent's reinforcement. You should have known better than to do it, especially on this tile. And just keep cleaning up his infantry, because you don't want him to have too many infantry. So yeah, this was bound to happen. Thanks. Pulls back that tank, and to be honest, I don't know if it's gonna be able to heal so close to enemy units. He knows where the enemy units are down there. Destroyed that 1 HP tank. Starts bulking up around there. I mean, this is looking better for Barry. And a turbocharge. So let's see how well he can pull this off. He pulls back units to heal them. He doesn't go for this one because he knows it's going to be a trap. It's easy for infantry to cross this lake, so there's going to be infantry to stop him. There may be a battlecopter here to stop it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, in 1 reinforcement turn of the battlecopter, it can just knock you off. He doesn't want to chance it. And he pulls back entirely, which, awesome. He knows and this is just kind of like a general rule, I was told, and I've had really great luck with it. After doing a really nice solid blow, if you retreat, your opponent's going to likely want to push it again. So if you can just retreat, if you only option is retreat, but even better if you could front shift. That way those units are still making active threats on the field. And he's able to get the healthy tank in on that city. Gets another decent tank hit, and now he can put a unit on that city. Great. One-shots that infantry. Awesome. And he pretty much cleared out all of the tanks in this area. And the thing I really love about this is that he was particularly smart, right? So knowing that Barry is going to get his super because of your actions, 1, he makes sure to clear off all the vehicles in this area. 2, over here, he just straight up retreated. That's great because 1, your opponent needs to get vision, and if he doesn't, even if he, let's say, sacks a recon and he doesn't see anything, he's not going to want to push in. And also over here, let's say this guy, if you gave him extra 2 movement, 1, 2, he can get 1 tank. Well, you can get this tank, but he knows he's just barely gonna scratch the surface of your little ball of units over here. So that's not an effective use. So his opponent, his best luck is probably to hold on to that power. We're gonna see, but it may be the case. So Barry decided to go with a medium tank. 21 went with the Neo tank. It depends on your income curve which one I'd want to go for. Because I agree there's a good chance he's going to lose some recons. He has no recons down here. You probably need a recon anyway, so because he had the income, yeah, probably go with the Neo. Neo makes sense. So he's pulling back a little bit over here, and here's the difficult thing, is that this little ball is, it can front shift over here. It can shift over here before units become an issue over here. Like, he's able actually to produce some issue units. So it looks like he's going in for some attacks over here, maybe. Just bring in that medium tank. I think he doesn't know where the units are, so he's going to bring them into this area and decide whether to go up or down. Is he likely to get this? Nah, he's not likely to get this. So 21, again, he knows there's a huge force though that Barry's holding onto his power. He doesn't want to necessarily lose things, so he pulls them back, trying to heal them up. This one's probably not going to heal up too well. This one's going to heal up nicely. Probably will heal up to maybe 6 will be useful for something. I don't know. It's better than nothing, but leaving a unit on a city for days on end is not great, because then it's not being used, not being leveraged against your opponent. Ooh, and an anti-air. So day 12 makes an I can't remember. He might have seen the copter. But you do want to even make anti-air as Jess, because Jess still does enjoy the benefit of copters. In this case, it helps you reinforce this particular side. And I mean, the main detraction from just battlecopters are that you don't want to use them on a map where battlecopter and battlecopter is viable, right? You don't want to have your opponent's counter to battlecopters be another battlecopter, then you're going to lose. Whereas anti-air, it's not so much of an issue. Especially if you want to get, because Barry needs to get his unit count up. Yeah, copters just make sense. And then if he can get his opponent to make anti-air, then he can use the tanks he has to destroy the anti-air and get more. It's basically leveraging his opponent's build order to a unit that he can make a more effective raid on. And he pops just the standard power. Okay. So he stops that. Note that Barry does have a 2,000 lead, and he's trying to maintain it. Okay. He is shoving a bunch of units down here, and remember, where was it? That tank is in reinforcements of a second day tank. So you better hope he only has, like, let's say he didn't commit more tanks down there. Brings in the medium tank. Again, I don't love this. I mean, there's certain situations you want. Maybe he's trying to bait an opponent on here, but I don't know. Another medium tank. One of the nice things about medium tanks is that you can make them more frequently than Neo tanks, although they're not as strong. So, and more tanks in general can do more hits, be in more places at once. They're just not as strong. If you need the strength, though. So he's fighting into this. He's taking some good engagements over here. Some decent ones over here. Getting rid of that recon, getting rid of the infantry. He still moves this, but he's able to move it on the city, so it will heal up even further. Great. Moves the Neo in. This is going to be interesting, because it's going to determine who gets a shot off at who first with these two units. And boom. So here was my thought, and this is just my thought. You could take this guy, get a single shot off at this guy, clean him off with the 5, put the medium on the city, and get a 1 shot on this guy, right? And then who knows? So it does put this on a great defensive tile. Maybe knowing his opponent at this point has been free with just taking shots at tanks on cities. He could just, if he did put this on the city, he could just take a shot with the Neo, but he could have. No, he could have forced made somewhat of a wall and forced him to take a shot at the shoal, or maybe. I don't know. Now he knows there's a medium tank. He knows there's a nice juicy medium tank down here for him. Pulls away a tank. Finishes off this guy. Now he doesn't get a clear shot at the tank, but see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. He wants to clear off this guy, and oh yeah, he can clear off that city, no problem. And now he gets to take a shot at this tank while it's on a plane, while he's on a city. So that's kind of the worst case scenario. Pulls away up here. Yeah, for 21, I don't know. Like, other than this capture right here, I don't think it's worth pushing into this at all. Get this and just hunker down. Just defend that. Yeah. Okay, so let's see this. Boom. Cleans up this guy. Now let's see the magic. Boom. One-shots a medium tank. Boom. One-shots that. So the power on this game is just enough to really one-shot the units they want to one-shot. That's the main reason. They don't need the extra 2 movement. They're just content with that 1 movement. That was a roll. Gonna do with the tank. The tank's kind of vulnerable over there, but maybe it's gonna delay. He can get away with getting this now. Okay, goes in with the copter. He sees the anti-air and resigns. Yeah, that's cool. So, for me, one, I really want to take good engagements on a map like this, right? Want to minimize. So, I want to minimize the amount of resources I have to consume for obtaining my plan, right? So, and he just kind of like, in the early game, I don't know what he was doing down here, but he just kind of threw away some tanks, right? He kept taking, now again, this is just me, right? Okay, there might be a good reason for this, but just clearing things off cities and then not throwing anything on the city, which generally that's why you go on cities, is because it's a little bit of an advantage for you. And I think one of the big things is you can't afford to be putting too many resources into too many units to maintain an income advantage, right? If you're not going to be able to make it up in the match, right? Spending 9,000, like multiple tanks to secure one city isn't going to make much of a difference in the long run. If it's just a couple, let's say a couple infantry trade for a city, that might be really useful, but so I don't usually watch brawly maps on here, but glad I did. Gave me some good things to think about, and hopefully it gave you some things to think about. Thanks for watching.